Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Scorpion Cigar Reviews. Today I'll be reviewing this Pepper Cream Chocolate Crush. This was sent to me by Matt Eskridge. Thank you very much, buddy. It's a barber pole style cigar, and much like the Swollen Cock that I reviewed recently, it's of a varying diameter on the ring. Looks to be similar to the other one, which was like I said, I don't know the exact dimensions, but it's something in the neighborhood of 48 by 52 or 54, and then back down to 48 or 50 or whatever it is, but it's something along those lines, a little thicker in the middle. Alright, it has a kind of a rough, not quite sandpaper, but pretty rough feel on the wrapper. It's not a toothiness. There is a bit of an oily, waxy, there might be some tooth. Actually, yeah, there is a little bit of tooth, but that's not the roughness that I'm feeling. I think it's been coated maybe with the glue that they use on cigars when they roll them. It's just the feel that I get. That's what it seems like to me. I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like. Some veins, nothing, no big deal on the veins, but that's what it is. It's got a triple cap, it looks like. All right. Just some tobacco notes on the nose, maybe a little bit of, just little hints of barnyard, a little bit of hay in there. Not a whole lot going on, but all right. The foot, some grains, some leather, a little bit of cedar spice, very subtle. A little bit of the barnyard in there. All right. Get it cut up. I'll use my punch cutter. Typically, I'm not really a big fan of the punch cuts, only because they generally don't give a large enough cut, but it really depends on the ring gauge of your cigar. And then it plugs up the hole. I'll have to clean it out later. But anyway, however, with this particular punch cutter, I don't know what the size of it is offhand, but it's pretty universal. It's working out pretty well for most cigars that I feel I could use the punch cutter on. So I've been happy with it. Good airflow. A little bit of cedar spice, some leather, once again a little bit of the grains. Alright, let's get this toasted up and see what we have. See if I can get this lit with the fan blowing. It's kind of hot and muggy out. Yeah, I think it'll be alright. That noise you're hearing in the background, that whirring noise, that is my little tabletop fan sitting out here at the tiki bar. There we go. Starting off, smoke's a little dry. The wrapper itself is very dry. It's sticking to my lips. Got that initial blast of pepper, but it's not real strong. Something else going on, not really necessarily an off flavor, but just not a flavor that I tend to enjoy, but sometimes that'll go away. I have a feeling that has something to do with the glue. As I mentioned, I think they've painted the entire stick with the glue that they use when they're making the cigars to hold the cap on and that type of thing. It's organic and should be flavorless and that kind of thing, but There's no such thing as flavorless. There's always something, some aspect that will be imparted by anything you do to anything. All right, right away it's heating up really good. This is getting hot and soft, all the way up until you hit the middle of it where the thicker portion is. But the first third is quite soft and warm, and I'm not even drawing on it. Looks like it was made in tubo style. As you see, it's got the multiple holes like straws, so that should help with the airflow, but at the same time it can make a cigar burn hot. But we'll just see what happens. So anyway, I'll continue on. I'll come back somewhere in the first third. See you in a bit. All right, I finished the first third, just starting into the wider bulbous portion of this cigar. Didn't really care much for the first third. And a lot of those, what I would consider an off flavor, that I think is from the glue, where they've obviously coated the entire wrapper with this glue. Which is a shame, because I can see that there is some toothiness and I can kind of feel it, but by coating it with all that glue, it's definitely impacting the flavor profile of this cigar. Pepper, maybe a little bit. Chocolate? No. Cream? Although the smoke is a little bit dry, it does leave a creamy feeling on the rear of the palate. But the mid and forward portion of the palate, that dry smoke is really just sucking the moisture out of everything. Crush? I don't know where they're getting the crush from. Pepper, cream, chocolate, crush. I don't know. It doesn't describe the flavor profile of this cigar. When I saw that name, I feared that perhaps it was a flavored cigar, but I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot anyway. But yeah, not really a whole lot going on. Not getting any real, you know, real cigar type flavors necessarily. Nothing going on with it. I'll come back in the second third. See you in a bit. The second third, I have picked up some basic kitchen type spices, some pepper and some other various spices. Smoke's a little warm, not hot, a little bit warm. Once again, it's burning warm, it's getting soft. The whole thing is pretty soft now. That's good airflow, plenty of smoke output. It's a very narrow flavor profile. It's, you know, that pepper is there on the retrohale. And so from time to time you pick up a little bit of some various kitchen spices, but pretty nondescript. I can't specifically pick out, you know, any spice particularly, but yeah, just it's not rough. It's, you know, it's just, and it's not that it's unbalanced or anything like that. Just not a whole lot going on. All right, I'll continue on. I'll come back in the final third. See you in a bit. I'm in the final third. I've picked up mostly pepper notes now. It's been kind of a medium body and strength with a medium pepper, long on the finish. Pepper lingers around for quite a while. At this point in the final third, approaching the nub, it's starting to pick up in strength a little bit, maybe medium full, somewhere in there. Starting to sit a little heavy in the chest. Hasn't been any issues with the burn line. I haven't had to touch it up or relight it or do any corrections. A little bit wavy, no big deal. It's ashed off in about 3/4 inch maybe chunks. Cone shape every time. Construction seems fine, no issues with it unraveling or anything, which I attribute to them coating the entire cigar in glue. You know, whatever. I've come across that before, where they've coated the entire cigar. And typically, you know, in some ways it makes sense, because you have the two different kinds of wrappers, and since they'll burn at a slightly different rate, that'll tend to make them separate and unravel. even in a very high quality cigar, they can do that, just because the varying temperatures at which the wrappers will burn, different rates, burn rates, and that type of thing. So, you know, to coat the whole cigar in a little bit of glue, maybe not necessarily a bad idea. There's a little bit of meatiness maybe trying to come in right now. Very subtle, short on the finish. Like a pepper steak maybe. It's peppery, a little bit of meaty, but a cheap quality pepper steak, not anything that's, you know, high end or anything, like a Walmart brand pepper steak. Alright, well, I'm pretty much into the nub, so I'm just going to go ahead and end this review here, saying that the, what do they call it? Pepper cream chocolate crush, whatever. I don't know where they get the name from. I got the pepper. Maybe a little bit of creaminess on the rear of the palate. No chocolate. As far as crush, yeah, it feels like it's been crushed. It's very soft. But other than that, where they came out with that name, I'm not sure. It doesn't really describe the cigar, its flavor profile, its burn characteristics, anything. So, I don't know what the price point is on this cigar. Don't really care. It's not to my liking. If you feel like looking up a one-dimensional cigar with minimum flavors, and being one of those, I believe this was another lost and found type cigar, so it's probably a ridiculous amount of money for what you get. I don't know, but its value is probably $2 tops, I would think. Maybe $3, because of the roll characteristics with the varied diameters, and being a barber pole, that tends to add cost just in the construction aspect. Yeah, I would recommend this cigar to somebody that isn't necessarily looking for a lot of flavors or nuances or anything that you got to look for, because there's nothing there. There's nothing to look for. Just non-existent, one-dimensional, short on the finish, subtle flavors, pepper. That's about all you're getting. You might pick up a little bit here, a little bit there, but by the time you realize, oh hey, there's something there, it's gone. Take another draw, it's not there. So, thank you for once again watching Scorpion Cigar Reviews. I'll catch you next time. You shake your head?